Today, we are going to separate all of the sounds in some words. Listen while I say the sounds in hug. Hug. G. Hug. Let's stretch the word hug together. Hug. G. Hug. Nose. N-O-Z. Nose. Good. Make sure you're doing it with me, using your fingers right up here at your chest. Duck. D-U-C-K. Duck. Lime. O-I-M. Lime. Six. S-I-X. Six. Good. Make sure you're doing it with me. Feet. F-E-T. Feet. Man. M-A-N. Man. Worm. W-R-M. Worm. Shark. Sh-R-K. Shark. Toes. T-O-Z. Toes. Doing good. Keep it up. Leaf. O-E-F. Leaf. Jam. J-A-M. Jam. Bike. B-I-K. Bike. Thumb. Th-U-M. Thumb. Bed. B-E-D. Bed. Elf. E-L-F. Elf. Hat. H-A-T. Hat. Corn. K-O-R-N. Corn. Wig. W-I-G. Wig. Sad. S-A-D. Sad. Awesome job with those finger stretching exercises. Now, we're going to see what our new sounds look like when they are written down. What is this a picture of? Soap. What is the first sound in soap? S. Soap begins with S, and these letters say the sound or spell S. Do you remember Sophia the seal? After she slides down the sand dunes, she cleans herself up with soap. Her favorite sound is S. The name of these letters is S. S says S, like the beginning of soap. This one is called capital S, and this one is called lowercase s. This is the one that we will see most often, so we will just call it S. Let's try a new letter. What is this a picture of? Hammer. What is the beginning sound in hammer? Right, hammer begins with H, and these letters say H. Do you remember Hannah the hedgehog? She is better at hula hooping than she is at swinging a hammer. Her favorite sound is H. The name of these letters is H. H says H, like the beginning of hammer. This one is called capital H. This one is called lowercase h. This is the one we will see most often, so we'll just call it h. Let's learn a new letter. What is this a picture of? Cat. What is the beginning sound in cat? K. Cat begins with k, and these letters say k. Do you remember Carla the cat? She spent last summer canoeing in the creek at camp. Her favorite sound is k. So what do you think these letters say? K. So the name of these letters is C. C says k, like at the beginning of k, cat. This one is called capital C. This one is called lowercase c. This is the one that we will see most often, so we'll just call it C. Let's learn one more letter. What is this a picture of? A hand scratching an itch. What is the first sound in itch? I. So what do you think these letters say? I. Yes, the name of these letters is I. I says I, like at the beginning of itch. This one is called capital I, and this one is called lowercase I. This is the one we will see most of the time, so we'll just call it I. I. Let's do a motion to help us remember this sound. Pretend you have an itch on your arm and you're scratching it. Just pretend. Don't actually scratch it. I want you to make the sound as you do the motion. Good. Let's name our letters one more time and say the sound that each letter spells. This is S. S says S. This is H. H says H. This is C. C says K. This is I. I says I. Great work today. Let's move on to part 3. Now we're going to spell the first letter of some words. Hat. What is the first sound in hat? Good. Point to the letter tile that says and say its name. H. At. Hat. Map. What is the first sound in map? Point to the letter that spells and say its name. M. P. Cap. What is the first sound in cap? K. Point to the letter that spells the sound K and say its name. C. K. P. Cap. Ham. What is the first sound in ham? H. Point to the letter that spells the sound H and say its name. H. Ham. Cat. What is the first sound in cat? K. Point to the letter that spells the sound K and say its name. C. Cat. cat. Him. What is the first sound in him? Point to the letter that spells the sound and say its name. H. Him. Sit. What is the first sound in sit? S. Point to the letter that spells the sound s and say its name. S. It. Sit. This is mat. What is the first sound in mat? Point to the letter that spells the sound and say its name. M. At. Mat. Pat. What is the first sound in pat? P. Point to the letter that spells p and say its name. P. At. Pat. Sip. What is the first sound in sip? S. Point to the letter that spells s and say its name. S. Sip. Tap. What is the first sound in tap? T. Point to the letter that spells the sound t and say its name. T. Tap. Hip. What is the first sound in hip? Point to the letter that spells the sound and say its name. H. Hip. Pit. What is the first sound in pit? P. Point to the letter that spells the sound p and say its name. P. Pit. Sat. What is the first sound in sat? S. Point to the letter that spells the sound s and say its name. S. Sat. Hit. What is the first sound in hit? Point to the letter that spells the sound and say its name. H. Hit. This is our last one. Ready? Tip. What is the first sound in tip? T. Point to the letter that spells the sound t and say its name. T. Tip. Great work today.